Hey, in today's episode, we are talking all about what you should be doing to generate leads, clients, and sales on social media. The pandemic changed the game. Clubhouse came and ruined it all in January, February, March, April of 2021. And the way in which social media works now has massively changed. And having been a social media fan and a social media advocate since 2016, I do believe the methods and principles that I followed back then would not work today. And here's why. Make sure that you do like and subscribe. Make sure that you comment below with any questions that you have, as always on the channel. We release weekly videos for you to get insights, aspiration, inspiration, and motivation to build your financial services business to 6 figures and beyond. So make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you do like the channel and stay tuned for all the extra videos. So there's 3 steps, I believe, to social media success, to content marketing success, to attract your ideal client into your business. Now you have to do a step before social media. So the 3 steps, first of all, are create, connect, and consistency. The last one's pretty much going to speak for itself. So let's talk about create. Well, creating content is about actually creating some form of content that is evergreen, that people are searching for, that is going to last a lifetime. Because the problem with social media is it's so fast. Everybody's got 5,000 friends now on their Facebook profile. You know, the algorithms are constantly reducing reach so that it's really hard to grow your channel. Now, there's a way in which you can do that I'll tell you. But when we come to creating content, every single week, I do a Facebook Live or I do a video much like this. That video goes onto searchable platforms, YouTube being the main one. We then strip the audio and we create a podcast episode, which people then search. We then send it to rev.com and we get it transcribed, and we have an editor turn it into a nice written blog, which can go on multiple different blog sites. Now, the creation of that content is actually going to mean that over time, providing it's something that you want, the search will go up because people are constantly looking for it. It will come up as recommended searches when someone goes out there and says, how to use social media in such and such a time. How to get more leads through social media. Who knows? This video may even come up as a recommended video for other people to watch. But the podcast is there. It's a guaranteed listenership. It's one where when we release a video onto the YouTube channel, it gets emailed to all the subscribers saying, hey, there's a new video for you to go and listen to and watch. So the creating is all about having a pillar, evergreen piece of content that you do for your audience on a weekly basis. Now, if you don't know how to do that, I didn't back in 2016, but I've spent thousands learning how to, that I've now taught my clients how to do this process and how to do it in a really easy way, in the quickest possible time, because it's not something I massively enjoy doing, but it's something that brings you a huge amount of value. There's a process, there's a system, there's a method that you can follow to do it too. So when you nail creating content on a weekly basis, you get way more results because that evergreen piece of content will grow over time. It's an asset to your business. What does an asset do? It pays you dividends for a lifetime. It's searchable, and people will always be searchable. The better your headline, the better the content you produce, the more people that are going to find it. So you can't avoid this. The evergreen method is one that you have to adopt if you want to build a future-proof business. The second thing is connecting. And it's about connecting with your audience. Now, you do the connection through the creation of content, but you also do the connection through your content that you've created. So connection is about social media. It's about nailing one social media channel, spending your time. Mine at the moment is Instagram, because you can only put energy and effort into one channel. If you go to 2, you're doing 50% of effort onto both. Even if you're copying and pasting and repurposing, it's still thought processes, and that task should really be delegated, but that's a story for another day. When it comes to connecting, it's about understanding what your audience want. It's about having a structure and a theme and a process for producing content on a weekly basis. It's about sharing daily, not just the business, but also the personal side of you. Because when people like you, they'll be more inclined to say, oh, he does this for a job. She does that for her work. What else is interesting about them? Oh, there's a website link. Let me click it. Oh, there's the latest blog. There's the latest video. There's the podcast. And from that short form piece of content, when somebody connects with you in 15 seconds to 1 minute, they are then willing to invest time into your 500 to 1,000 word blog. They will then sit and listen to you for 15 minutes to 45 minutes on your podcast channel. Forgot which one it was. Or they might find you through your YouTube, and where I'm telling you, I hang out on Instagram, you go, actually, you know, the long form content can also drive people to the short form content as well. You know, this is going out as a podcast episode. You may be listening to this on the podcast right now. And if you want to connect with me, if you want to engage with me, if you want to have a conversation, if you've got a question about any of this, tag it in your stories, put your question on the stories, tag me, and I'll answer it. Send me a DM. You know, this is how you build that connection. Short form leads to long form, but long form can also lead to short form. This is the fickle world that we live in, right? Is the connection part. Is how many things have you bought from people that you don't really know? You have no clue whether they are the best at what they do. You have no clue if they're actually really good at their job. And yet you buy from them because you like them. Not naming any names, I'm a huge fan of him. Oh, I've already given a little cheeky 50% away. But there is someone out there in the social media world who is probably not one of the best personal trainers on the planet. And yet he has one of the biggest personal profiles that you will possibly find. But it's because you like him. You know, I'll say it's Joe Wicks. You know, he's a personal trainer. He's not a chef, but he's got some of the best. He's got a huge following. He's got books that have absolutely eclipsed some of the best chefs that are out there. Why? Because he has a personal brand that people like. So the connection is there, which then leads you to his created content, his long form content, which then leads you to buy his products and his services. So hopefully that makes sense. You use the short form content mostly to drive people to the long form content to give you the future-proof business. But equally, people find the long form and come and connect with you on the short form. The fact of the matter is, if you're not doing both, then you are a faceless business by just doing long form content. There's nothing for people to find. There's also, if you've got a podcast, you're relying on people finding it only on the podcast channel. Where when you're sharing on social media, they can find it through your social media that drives them to it. If you're relying on just YouTube, you know, people are connecting with you on the YouTube channel, and there's people out there who have got massive YouTube channels, but they also have the connection through the short form daily vlog, daily what we're up to, additional short form value that they're giving, and the two work so hand in hand. It's like a tug of war, both pulling each other pillar to post and working together. The third and final one is obviously consistency. I get so many messages from people who turn around and say, I've been posting on social media for a week and I haven't had any inquiries. Well, of course you haven't, because it's only been a week. The whole thing around particularly connection is when you start doing it, people believe that they're going to give up. They don't believe that you're going to continue doing it for the lifetime. The longer you do this stuff, the more it compounds. The longer that blog's live, the more that podcast is up, the more you talk about it, the more people get to know it. The more you post, not daily, one post a day is more than enough. But the longer you post for, the more consistent you are, the growth that you have, the more of yourself that you bring to your audience. The more consistent you are, the more consistent your results come. And the perfect example of this is me having no social media profile at all back in 2015. I started with the connection phase, and it was much easier to build the connection phase back in 2015. I started there. I've got videos that I did in 2017, 2018 that still generate me leads today because they're on YouTube, because they are blogs on my website. and they're driving leads into my mortgage brokerage. We've got podcast episodes from when it launched back in early 2019 where I still get messages from people saying, wow, that was so valuable, that was great episode, etc. so on. Because you have to have the evergreen assets. But the longer you do this stuff for, the more future-proof your business becomes. Because if you imagine your business as a funnel, at the top of it is your audience. After your audience, it's about clients. Or actually, it's probably sales, because you've got to turn your audience into sales. Then you get clients at third, then you have a future-proof business. If you stop doing the stuff here, then nothing comes out the bottom. You have to keep filling up the bucket. You have to keep developing, improving, growing. You have to, rather than paying a marketing agency, rather than doing all the content marketing yourself, you have to have someone else on your team who can repurpose your content, who can be your marketing support. So you can be in the video, you can come up with the awesome ideas, but you go and speak to your client. Someone else then takes that and puts that into the other forms of content that drive more leads, clients, and sales into the business. The more you're consistent, the more value you bring to the world, the more your customers, clients, and prospects will see you being consistent, the more you will get those random messages from people who say, I've been watching you. Because 90% of people on social media never like, never comment, never engage, never share, but they're always watching. People will read your blogs, they'll listen to your podcasts, they'll watch your videos. Most of you may be guilty of this. You are probably a lurker. You've never commented, you've never liked, you've thought, that's really good. Maybe you've even thought this is shit. But you've never told me, you've never commented, you've never engaged, so I have no idea who you are. But you're potentially always watching. So irrespective of the feedback you get, you take it, you learn, you develop, you improve, you grow. You always remain consistent. So if I can urge you to go and do one thing today, go and create a video, go and create a podcast, go and create a blog. Whichever one you can do like that. I've created videos that haven't even become podcasts and blogs yet. You don't have to do it all at once. You just have to start with one thing. Get good at one thing. Follow one course and still successful. Pick one of those three, begin doing it. And make a commitment to connect with your audience every single day through your social media channels. Make a commitment to share that created content through your social media channels. And make a commitment to be consistent from this point onwards. Thanks very much indeed for tuning in to this episode. And if you want to leave me a comment, that'd be much appreciated. If you want to leave a rating or a review for the podcast, then you can do that. All you got to do is go over to your preferred podcast channel, hit it up there, leave a rating or review. The more reviews we get, the more amazing guests we can get. We've got some exciting episodes coming up for you. Can't wait to share those with you. As always, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today, and I look forward to speaking to you on the next episode. Remember, now's the time to become pro.